Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. श्री ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। We will start with prayers. Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat krupatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. We'll chant the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Shrushrushroshadadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Hridayantastodya Bhadrani Vidunoti Sudrutsatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Tadarajastamo Bhava Kamalobhadayasche. Chetayetayranavrityam Stitam Sattve Prasidati. Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते विद्यते हृदयाग्रन्थि छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशया श्रियन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 3 and 4. And the name of the chapter is The Appearance of Sri Narada. कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहिता मुनि। कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहिता मुनि। कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहिता मुनि।
कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहिता मुनिः।
कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहितं मुनिः।
कस्मिन् युगे प्रवृत्तेयं स्थाने वाकेन हेतुना कुतः संचोदितः कृष्णः कृतवान् संहिता मुनि।
Kasmin, in which yuge period pravritta was begun iyam this sthane in the place va or kena on what hetuna ground kuta where from sanchodita inspired by Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa Kritavan compiled Samhitam Vedic literature Muni the learned. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In what period and at what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature? Purport. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the special contribution of Srila Vyasadeva, there are so many inquiries by the learned Shaunaka Muni. it was known to them that Srila Vyasadeva had already explained the text of the Vedas in various ways up to the Mahabharata for the understanding of less intelligent women, Shudras and fallen members of the family of twice born men. Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to all of them because it has nothing to do with anything mundane. So the inquiries are very intelligent and relevant. So let us look at the context first. Till the end of the third chapter was Sutta Goswami describing the different incarnations of the Lord, and also he was glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, saying that this is the literature for the benefit of the entire Kali Yuga. In fact, the word used is Puna Purana Arko. Means it's the even among all the Puranas, it's the Arka, means like sunlight. It gives the light to this current age. So, and he said, and the last words he spoke was, he says that I have heard this Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, and I understood it, and I am speaking based on my realization. So that's what he says. And immediately, just when he said that, actually the word previously, yesterday in the class it was mentioned, the two words, Yadadita Yadamani. As I heard and as I realized, based on my realization, I am now going to speak to you. So immediately Shaunaka Rishi, he becomes so enthusiastic, so much excited about it, because he understands the rarity of finding a qualified speaker. Because Shaunaka Muni himself is a qualified receiver, so he understands what is the value of the person who is actually heard from disciple sufficient, and in this case he directly heard from Sukadeva Goswami, right? And that is why he was so much enthusiastic actually. So immediately he starts asking questions. So that is the emotions. He's inside Shaunaka Muni. The emotions are like with great happiness, great, he was joyful really. Wow, I got this opportunity. So with great enthusiasm, he is posing the questions. Actually recently I was reading Nectar of Instruction. So for bhakti, enthusiasm is one of the key feature. Like we have to execute all our activities with enthusiasm. So that is the principle given there. And here, Shaunaka Muni is an example. Like with so much great. Because when I was hearing the lecture, Maharaj was also telling. As soon as he jumped from his seat, like. Wow, this is an opportunity, it's a great enthusiasm, right? And he started asking questions. And the question is like not like, just one verse. Actually, here's the next, from the text 1, all the way, I forgot the number, but few verses actually, its questions are continued, right? And another important point here to note is, Shaunaka Rishi is addressed by Vyasadeva as Kulapati. So Kulapati means spiritual master of like 10,000 disciples, and those disciples are also like great sages who are all assembled there and who are performing the yajna, right, for the benefit of Kali Yuga. That's what we have learned in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he is a great personality and he is a Brahmana by his qualification. Whereas Sutta Goswami is not a Brahmana by birth. It's because his father was Brahmana, right? Who Balarama kills while he was in pilgrimage. So he was from Pratibhama marriage. So he is just by based on birth, he is from a lower birth, right? still Saunaka Rishi gives full respect. And in fact, one of the questions that comes in the same chapter later on, that you know Bhagavatam thoroughly, you understood the Puranas thoroughly, even though you don't know all other parts of the scripture. Because Sutta Goswami is trained well in Srimad Bhagavatam thoroughly, but he is not well versed because he is not trained in all the Vedic aspects of all the Vedic mantras and all. So, but still he wants to listen from Sutta Goswami. So that means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings of who is a Vaishnava, who can speak Bhagavatam. It's not that there is a verse I forgot from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says in the meaning goes like this. It doesn't have to be birth or knowledge or where he comes from or who he knows or how much money he has. None of them are qualifications to become a devotee or a speaker. It's only whoever heard from disciple succession, who understood it, who assimilated it, and who can speak based on the context. So that is why Saunaka Rishi has identified that even though Saunaka Muni was so qualified, he identified that qualifications from Sutta Goswami and he was trying to speak. So, and now he wants to ask, actually specifically 4 questions he asked, questions related to 4 aspects. One is Srimad Bhagavatam, then about Vyasadeva himself, then Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. But all these 4 aspects, there are questions are expanded like in different verses. Today we will discuss only 3 and 4, where the question is about mainly Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva and introduction of Shukadeva Goswami. Right? So the text 3 is actually about basically when did this great literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, when did it appear or when did Srila Vyasadeva compile? Right? In fact, he is basically asking the question of time, place and circumstance. In fact, the first one is time, right? So Yuga means period, when, what time this has started, right? And then place, sthane, where did this work has been taken up, right? And Kuta, Kena and Kuta means that's basically why. What is the reason? Under what circumstances that Srila Vyasadeva taken up this work? What has that incident which inspired him to write this literature? Right? So basically all those 3, and the answer is given later on. Sutta Goswami explains, right? On the banks of Saraswati river, all those, he mentions all those things. Then, and Prabhupada explains that this is a great, Srimad Bhagavatam is a great literature, and Saunaka Rishi's question is apt because he wants to know, because it's such a great literature and why and where this literature has appeared. And even though the behind meaning was, even though Vyasadeva wrote all the Vedic literatures, Prabhupada explains, right? It was known to them that Srila Vyasadeva had already explained the text of Vedas. So he has already explained all the Vedas, beginning from the Vedic literature, Upanishads, and all the way until Puranas and Itihasas like Mahabharata, covering all ranges of people, including most learned people, to all the way till he says Shudras and fallen members of the family of twice born men. So he is covering all ranges of people. But still, he again tried to compose Srimad Bhagavatam. So what was the reason? Why is that, right? So that is why this question is so relevant that Prabhupada explained. So the inquiries are very intelligent and relevant. Particularly because Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental to all of them. Because it has nothing to do with any mundane nature. So it can, Srimad Bhagavatam can inspire bhakti, God consciousness in all the sections of the people, and also even from literature's point of view, it is transcendental literature. even though there may be many varieties of literature, particularly Vedic literature, Vedas, they focus more on Karma Kanda and those philosophies. But Srimad Bhagavatam is purely dedicated to the bhakti, right? So in that sense. So text 3 is done. We'll move on to the text 4. Tasya putro mahayogi samadrun nirvikalpaka ekanta matir unnidro gudho mudha iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi samadrun nirvikalpaka ekanta matir unnidro gudho mudha iveyate. Tasya, his, putra, son, Mahayogi, a great devotee, Samadru, equibalanced, Nirvikalpa, absolute monist, Ekanta Mati, fixed in monism or oneness of mind, Unnitra, surpassed nations, Guda, not exposed, Mudha, stunted, Yuva, like, Iyate, appears like. Translation: his, Vyasadeva's son, was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Purport: Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul, and thus he remained always alert, not to be trapped by the illusory energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, this alertness is lucidly explained. The liberated soul and the conditioned soul have different engagements. The liberated soul is always engaged in the progressive path of spiritual attainment, which is something like a dream for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul cannot imagine the actual engagements of the liberated soul. When the conditioned soul thus dreams about spiritual engagements, the liberated soul is awake. Similarly, the engagement of a conditioned soul appears to be a dream for the liberated soul. A conditioned soul and a liberated soul may apparently be on the same platform, but factually they are differently engaged, and their attention is always alert, either in the sense of enjoyment or in self-realization. The conditioned soul is absorbed in matter, whereas the liberated soul is completely indifferent to matter. This indifference is explained as follows. So, this text is giving introduction to Sukadeva Goswami and questions pertaining to Sukadeva Goswami, which are going to come up in the next verses. Right? First, the question was about Vyasadeva, how did he write Srimad Bhagavatam? And this question is about Sukadeva Goswami, and he is introduced here as Tasya Putra, means son, right? Vyasadeva's son is Sukadeva Goswami, his son. Was a great devotee, but the point to understand here is he has been mentioned here as an impersonalist, right? Samadruk. Samadruk means Prabhupada explains that equibalanced. Probably this is applicable both for devotees and impersonalist also. But this word, Nirvikalpaka, right? Absolute monist, means he is Brahmavadi basically, monist, right? So, and Ekantamati, fixed in monism, oneness, right? So, these two very specifically describe him as a impersonalist. But the question is, he was impersonalist only until he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. But actually after heard, that is why actually the questions building up is like, even though he is such a great monist, and next was, he is equibalanced he is not disturbed by anything, and also he surpassed all the nations. He is fully knowledgeable. Means he is not interested in anything mundane, right? And he is not exposed. And even on appearance also, he appears like a stunted person, like a madman. He doesn't care about the matter, right? In fact, Prabhupada's purport is all about explaining like uninterested in a matter, like he's indifferent to matter, right? So he explains that. So this verse becomes a prelude to the questions that is going to come up, right? So even though he is an impersonalist, such a staunch impersonalist, what is that made him to listen from Vyasadeva, right? How did he become a great devotee in the future, right? After hearing from. So what is that so greatness about the Bhagavatam, essentially? Because Bhagavatam made him, transformed him into a great devotee, right? So that's the one. Then and another aspect is he is totally, completely realized person. So then why he has to spend time, because he is already knowledgeable, then why he has to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam? That's another glory of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental. Anybody can refresh, including from the great devotees who are already realized, from all the people who are very bottom of the chain in the spiritual progress. It can inspire all kinds of people. Of course, each person will receive in a different way, but it can inspire. That is the potency, because it is mundane literature. It can bring them all the people at spiritual level. And also another aspect is he is not even worried about anything to do with the matter, material things, and the time also. In the next verses it comes actually. Shukadeva Goswami is, even if he goes to some person's house, he only stays very short time. He doesn't stay for a long time, and in fact it explains the duration of cow's milk. However, cow's milk, he takes that and he gives the spiritual knowledge during that time, and he leaves. He is not attached to any one place. But he took time to explain this literature 7 days and 7 nights without going anywhere. Means it's an important time for him, because he doesn't stay anywhere, even a half an hour time. But why he took so much time and so much importance to teach this Bhagavatam, right? And he is not interested in any material aspects, but why it is that he taught this literature to Parishit Maharaj, who is a king who is attached to material, apparently. But it is in the later on it explained actually he is not attached. So why is he explaining it to Parishit Maharaj? So this text forms the prelude to the all other texts, right? So, and Prabhupada mainly focuses on the words here, Gudha, like not exposed to the matter, and Muda means stunted. Stunted means he is indifferent basically. Even though he is in the matter, he is not bothered because he is a completely realized personality. Right? And Prabhupada says that here, both materialists and liberated souls, both are engaged, and both are actually the word used here is alertness. Both are alert actually. So one is alert for sense enjoyment, right? If whenever there is a chance for happiness, they are fully up. They will actually find out. They have nice calendars there, right? They also plan very nicely actually. Materialists who wants to really enjoy, they take time and go to the places, people, and they will. So, but whereas spiritualists, they also plan. They are alert, not to get entangled. First alertness is not to get entangled in matter, and the next alertness is to engage in the spiritual activities, right? So Sukadeva Goswami is explained here, he is fully alert, and because he is so alert about spiritual topics, he is totally indifferent to the matter. So he is not even bothered about it, he doesn't bother, right? So in fact the verses which are coming up, it explains that when he was, after taking birth, he was walking away from home. Then there were women taking a bath. They don't cover after seeing Sukadeva Goswami. But whereas Vyasadeva, when he was following, they cover. Then Vyasadeva asks with curiosity, why did you cover up? I am also a sage, right? So then he says, he doesn't appear to be bothered about anything material, right? So in that sense, he's totally, even though he is apparently living in matter, he is not even connected with matter. He is fully alive with spiritual knowledge. And Prabhupada quotes here, actually this is from, I think, because Prabhupada doesn't explicitly mention which text from Bhagavad Gita, but the way he explained is awake, right? When spiritualists are awake, they are dreaming. Yeah. So it's a Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 69th verse, where there is a section of Sthita Dhirmani, right? Where Sthita Dhirmani's qualities, when Prabhupada is explaining, or Krishna is explaining, he says that for a Sthita Dhirmani, when there is a night, for materialists, attached people, it is a daytime. And it's like the opposite, other way around. So in fact, Prabhupada is explaining that even though both of them appear to be on the same, apparently on the same platform, because even spiritualists, they perform activities. Like we learn from Nectar of Instruction that even in Nectar of Devotion also, devotion and Nectar of Instruction both. Devotional service is activity, means we will be doing activities, right? And materialists are also doing activities. So in that sense, it's on the same platform. But it's only the external activities, right? But if you see the internal attitude, that's totally different. The spiritualist, the motivation is to please Krishna and to grow in spiritual direction. But whereas materialist, it's mainly for sense gratification. At the best, dharmartha kama. So those three, right? So, and yeah. So one thing we can learn from here is to be alert in spiritual matters is actually is the key to be indifferent to the matter. So that's what Sukadeva Goswami is so indifferent to the matter because he is totally alert in spiritual. So I was just thinking, particularly in my case, most of the time I'm absorbed in the matter. So what is that activities or what is that we have to do so that we will bring our attention back to the alertness? Because at least I am so much alert to the matter. So what is the shift? When should that shift should happen? Bring it back to the spirituality. So what are the activities or what are the practices that we have to do so that at least sometimes I remember Krishna, right? I remember spirituality. So I want you to participate and tell your experiences or one or two sentences regarding that. Yes, Maharaj. 1 minute.
So Prabhu, as you're explaining these two verses, this part about enthusiasm alertness. Just like what you said, I'm feeling the same. That these are the qualities we need to have to progress in our spiritual life. But I also don't have it. As we're reading these verses, I'm also realizing that I'm so absorbed in just matter, in just day-to-day activities, and like the whole focus is absolutely opposite. Yeah, so this. So is it better? So this is actually a very good reminder, and I really I'm appreciating how you're putting it for us to take these messages of Srimad Bhagavatam and put it in practical life. And what I'm really absorbing is not the only way, but a very most important way to do it is to get in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam. This is what's going to take us or pull us out of this mentality of being attached to the matter. So those are some of my reflections.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mother. Very apt. But that's it's like all these questions are pertaining to Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So they are Srimad Bhagavatam is the one which is going to help us remind of Krishna. Of course, there are different activities, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the very, very important one.
Yeah, along with just chanting and hearing, that's
Yes.
the main process, that's our primary process, and along with chanting, hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, those two activities, I think if we can keep it at our core practice, Prabhupada has guaranteed our progress. So.
Thank you for bringing that up, Prabhu. As you were sharing that it's out in a matter, it was very striking for me. Particularly, I have been going through some mental agitation or turbulence for probably past week and a half. It was so intense that I couldn't even think of anything related to Krishna. I mean, of course, I was chanting, but I couldn't even connect to anything, though I was hearing and chanting. Similar to what Gautamani Mataji is sharing, yesterday, somehow by Krishna's mercy, I got this opportunity to unexpectedly speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. Just for the brief period after the class, as I was looking through, I could see a total shift in the heart and in the mood and the consciousness, everything. I mean, I was not even prepared prepared for the class or anything. But just by touching the book and being with Prabhupada just for that, 50 minutes to 1 hour, and it brought such a total shift, which I have been hearing for so many days, for all these years. Bhagavatam has the potency, it can really do magic. Especially during the book distribution times and all, we hear this. It's like, okay, yeah, probably. But yesterday was like such a strong realization of that statements or messages what we have been hearing. So I felt like really connected to your message when you're saying, I can say the similar lines. Probably if you're 90% absorbed in the matter, I can say 110% absorbed in the matter. But at least those brief periods gave so much strength and hope where I can actually take shelter of, even though my mind says whatever stuff. So that's one prominent thing coming to me. And the other thing I'm thinking is association of devotees. chanting and hearing, even though I don't have the potency to really connect deeply, even though at that time it feels like, okay, something is happening. But association of devotees and the relationship, that's something I'm seeing immense potency to bring me back to the space where I belong than where I get lost. So those two things are come. Thank you so much for the class and for these reflections.
Thank you very much. Yes, certainly. Yeah, I was thinking about that association of the devotees. So, which I don't really take it. Even it's available, it's not that I'm not saying, but I don't take it very seriously. Maybe that's the one thing which I have to learn and work on. And yeah, but certainly in the sense that whenever I hear lectures, so that's when that transformation happens. So, yeah, thank you very much. Prabhu, you want to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. For me, I mean, couple of things. Prabhu. One is, of course, the morning sadhana. But more than that, when of course, I am also more into the matter. But when we do, especially hearing is one good, thing for me that helps. More than chanting, because chanting is most of the times it's like it happens. But I complete the rounds, but then it's the absorption. I don't see so much relevance unless some special cases when we are chanting association and all. But hearing is one thing. Mostly I hear in the morning. But if I hear very focusly and then read Bhagavatam at least a couple of pages, that is when my attention changes, or the emotions or whatever I was going through, there will be a shift. But during the day, it doesn't happen, hearing and all. But if I take a break and then after obeisances, sometimes I might feel okay, something is okay. I need to do in this way instead of in the other way. So that is one thing that helps.
Thank you, Prabhu. So for your hearing helps, and reading Srimad Bhagavatam goes to understanding, that really helps you. Yeah. Sometimes for me, remembering devotees also helps. Just I don't have to talk or anything. I just remember how this devotee, right? So that brings back the perspective, right? And another place where I shift sometimes happens is prasadam time. Consciously remembering, wow, this is Krishna prasadam. And so particularly if you chant the prasadam prayers with little bit of knowledge, it's not we don't have to be thorough, or a little bit understanding. I think it brings some shift at that point of time. Even though I end up overeating, but at the beginning, yes, this is Krishna Prasadam, so some shift happens. So, yeah. Yes?
Prabhu, I've had this one realization actually last week about the seriousness of this. Seriousness of following this process. I've had this like some medical problem that was extremely painful, and during that time, just even trying to chant or remember Krishna was nowhere on my mind. So we hear oftentimes that when the soul leaves the body, it's a very painful process. And through this experience, I realized that it's going to be very difficult, and unless I practice with all seriousness, because that seems to be very much a lacking in me, I feel. Just, how we're saying, the enthusiasm, sometimes it's there and most of the time it's not there. But, I'm just going. So this seriousness and this practice has to be there for us to call out to Krishna, because there is, no way we're going to be able to do it by our own endeavors. Krishna's mercy is definitely going to have to be there. But, I'm like, if I haven't made my effort to Krishna, Krishna is not obliged to help me at that time. He may, or, he may not. But I have to put in all my effort wholeheartedly to do what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, this is like such a good reminder, and I feel like I need the reminders all the time, almost every day. Well, sometimes you have those, you wish not like that, not in difficult situations, but it seems like that's the only way, to remember the seriousness of this matter. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you very much for bringing the point of enthusiasm again. Yeah, so I think that is why Rupa Goswami puts that in Network Instruction. Network Instruction is a very skinny book, 11 verses, but still Rupa Goswami explains enthusiasm is the key. In fact, three things, right? Enthusiasm, patience, and confidence. So these three attitudes that one should carry, right, to progress in bhakti. And we have to do all the things to keep us alert, right? Whatever brings us more enthusiasm and things. So I think I'm done for the day. So if you have any other discussions, please. Any other? You were sharing from. Let me share. One sentence. The question was, what was your key to be alert in spirituality, means getting away from the matter. What is that your key? What do you do?
It's just a learning Prabhu yesterday. It's the key for moving forward is association. I was just doing a Sankhya Yoga yesterday a lot.
Okay.
How a living entity gets entrapped into the, at least to start with, the 24 elements, and then with the modes, and then further and the gross vehicle, the covering. So the thing that will change is devotee association, and the thing that will help grow forward is also devotee association. Of course, Bhagavatam and holy name, but we get them through the association.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, I think we'll start here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam.